Thank you. I am so happy to be back in Turkey. I love this country. It's a beautiful country. And I think Istanbul is one of the greatest cities in the world. Thank you for bringing me back to Turkey. Thank you. Thank you. Every 5 years, the major technology companies introduce a new platform, some new technology. 5 years ago, it was tablet computers. Before that, it was the smartphone. And now, this year, they've announced that they're all going to introduce wearable computers, smartwatches, smart devices, and so on. And every time a new platform comes, I tend to get telephone calls. I get phone calls from companies that need my help. Motion picture studios, game publishing companies, and TV networks call me. For 20 years, I've been helping these companies find ways to connect with their audiences on digital platforms. I've enjoyed this immensely. And in the last 5 years, I've begun to get phone calls from other businesses, not media companies like game studios or motion picture companies, but now I get calls from banks and insurance companies, car manufacturers, government institutions, and even educational institutions, colleges and universities. They want my help because they too want to find a way to connect with people on digital devices. When I work with a company like this, I don't call it strategic planning. I don't call it digital strategy. What I call it is inventing the future. Because I work with their leading team to figure out what new service we can offer on a digital platform, how we can connect with an audience in the future. And then we go about building that together. Sometimes I make a new product. Sometimes I launch an entirely new company. And sometimes I have to take companies to a place that they don't really want to go. I believe that leadership means that you have to take people to places they're not ready to go. That's what a leader does. I'll give you an example. One of my clients right now is a major motion picture company, and they're working on a series of movies that will come out for the next 10 years. It's a very exciting project. And I spoke to the head of the studio, and he said, "Tell me, what's a movie theater experience going to be like in 2025? And I had to tell him, I don't think people are going to be going to movie theaters in 2025. So sometimes, if you're going to lead people into the future, you have to give them information and news that they're not ready to hear. You have to lead them to the next place. And sometimes you have to reinvent a very old category. For instance, think about the light bulb. I started this presentation with a picture of a light bulb, and I did that for a reason. You see, we take the light bulb for granted. They're the same all over the world. They've been around for 100 years. We don't really think much about a light bulb. We don't think that's something that will change very much. We tend to forget about them. But what's interesting about the lighting business is that the lighting field is going through more change now than it has in the past 125 years. Just imagine, in 2007, the compact fluorescent light, CFL, was introduced. It fit into the exact same socket as an old incandescent light, but this is a brand new technology, a kind of fluorescent light, very energy efficient. But within 3 years, that new light was made obsolete by the LED, the light-emitting diode. Much more efficient, much more durable, much more affordable. And now there's a new light, something called acandescent light. Not incandescent, acandescent. This is made by a company called Finally. And they found a way to put a phosphorus coating on the inside of a bulb so that when the filament is lit, it glows in a way that looks just like incandescent light, the old-fashioned light. It gives you that friendly, warm glow that we're familiar with.